Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down the big ideas. Today, we're going to talk about a huge shift in how we all connect online. I'm talking about the move away from the social media we're all used to and toward a future where you are literally the architect of your own digital world. All right, let's just dive right in with a question that, really gets to the heart of the matter for pretty much anyone online today. Creators, brands, you name it. Are you building your brand, your community, maybe your entire business on what is essentially rented land? And that question brings us right to our first big topic, the social media squeeze. The platforms we've all been using for years, the ones that feel like the bedrock of the internet, well, they're at this crazy inflection point. The old way is putting a serious squeeze on creators and users. And honestly, it's pushing everyone to ask, is there a better way? So people are feeling this pressure from like three main directions. First up is algorithmic fatigue. You know that feeling, right? That constant, exhausting fight against some black box algorithm that decides your fate. Then you've got the landlord crisis, which is the very real fear that the platform you've spent years building on could just change the rules or even kick you out overnight. And finally, there's this growing demand for data sovereignty. It's a simple idea, really. You should own and control your own stuff. Okay, so if the old model is basically like renting from a landlord who could change the locks at any moment, what's the alternative? Well, it's the idea of owning your own space, your own little corner of a whole universe of communities. And this is all being made possible by a new concept, social networks as a service. And what's so cool here is the fundamental shift in thinking. We're moving away from the old Web2 world, which is kind of like one giant chaotic town square, where everyone's just yelling over each other. The new world, this Web4 idea, is totally different. Now, you've probably heard about Web3, right? All about blockchain and decentralization. Well, think of Web4 as the next step, applying those ideas to who you are online and what you own. It's about having a universe of private estates that are all yours. This is all powered by that idea we just mentioned, SNaaS, or social networks as a service. And the concept is simple, but it's a real game changer. Instead of just joining a platform, you are the platform. You basically subscribe to a service that takes care of all the techie, behind-the-scenes stuff, the hosting, security, all that jazz. But, and this is the key, you keep 100% ownership of your users, your data, and how you earn a living. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Launching my own social network? That sounds super complicated. Something only a big-shot developer with a huge budget could do, right? Well, the whole point of this is to make it possible for, well, everyone. So check this out. The Web4 Studio actually boils this whole thing down to something you can do in as little as 30 seconds. Seriously. First, you just use some simple AI prompts. You just describe your perfect community, what it's for, the vibe, the rules. Second, you hit launch, and boom, a fully working social network is deployed. And third, you own it. All of it. The data, the users, the whole shebang. But wait, you might ask, doesn't this just create a million little islands that don't connect? That's where the secret sauce comes in, the Universal Integrated Identity Protocol. The easiest way to think about it is like a digital passport. Right now, every time you join a new site, you have to fill out new forms, build a new profile, start from zero. With this, your identity, your profile, your reputation travels with you. No more starting from scratch everywhere you go. Okay, so a new way to handle identity and build communities, that's huge. But you want to know what could really shake up the entire industry? It's the money, the economics of it all. And this is where we get to the power of zero. Just look at this comparison. It really puts things in perspective, doesn't it? On one side, you have the legacy platforms. They operate on what you could basically call a Web2 tax. They're taking a cut, anywhere from 3 to 7.5% of every dollar you make. But the SNaaS model, it just completely flips that on its head. Yep, that's the number that changes everything. 0%. A 0% take rate on all the revenue you generate as a creator. Think about that for a second. When you get to keep 100% of what you earn, it rewrites the entire economic playbook. You can try new things, maybe offer better deals to your community. It's a direct financial link. You pay a flat fee for the service, for the land, but you never ever get taxed on how well you do. So when you put all these pieces together, what do you get? This isn't just some small update or a new feature. It's a total reimagining of what a digital home even is. It's a massive shift away from everything we've gotten used to over the past 10, 15 years. And this table just lays it out so clearly, the DNA of this change. Instead of centralized control by a handful of giant companies, you get distributed sovereignty. It's yours.
Instead of your identity being the product sold to advertisers, it becomes a tool that you control, that digital passport we talked about. You trade those frustrating black box algorithms for actual community-driven governance. And the big one, those monetization taxes, gone, replaced with 100% of the revenue going to the creator.
And that leaves us with one last really powerful idea to chew on. For so long, we've been taught to think of our online home as just a profile page, right? Like a tiny rented room in somebody else's gigantic house. But this idea completely reframes that. The digital home of the future is not a profile, it is a network. So the question for you isn't just, what am I going to post today? It's, what am I going to build? If someone handed you the keys to your very own digital estate, what kind of world would you create?